It almost sounds impossible, but the mighty fox spirit who vanished during Baryon mode has finally been reborn. Back when Naruto and the fox fought side by side against an enemy strong enough to end the world, the battle pushed them into activating a final, self-sacrificing form. Naruto learned the painful truth. This power consumed the fox's existence entirely. As the mode faded, the fox's consciousness slowly dissolved. But tail beings like him aren't ordinary creatures. They are pure energy, and pure energy never disappears. Over time, that energy gathers again, reforms, and eventually recreates the spirit that once existed. The fox always knew this was possible, but he had no idea how long the rebirth would take. When he saw Naruto crying, helpless in that final moment, only one thought echoed in the fox's mind. I have to return. I have to see him again. And with that last wish, the fox slipped into complete darkness, waiting silently in the void where chakra drifts without shape or memory. There, beyond time, he patiently awaited the moment when scattered fragments of his essence would reunite, when the spark of life would ignite again, when the bond he shared with Naruto could continue. This is the beginning of the fox's quiet return, and the hope that one day he will once again stand beside the hero who was once the strongest shinobi in the world. Naruto Uzumaki. He was once again the same lonely, helpless, blonde-haired kid he used to be. After some time, the great fox spirit finally regained consciousness. Heavy, suffocating, depressed energy filled the dark space around him. Having no experience with being reborn, he stayed frozen for a while, trying to understand what had happened. The moment he checked his own condition, he realized something terrifying. He wasn't fully restored. Not even half of his original chakra had returned. Instinctively he roared, "Kid, something is wrong here." But inside that damp, pitch-black realm, no voice answered him. Very quickly he noticed something even worse. The perfect resonance between him and his host was completely gone. That bond, the one he once shared with the boy, had vanished. Shock turned into fear. What if his rebirth had taken too long? What if the blonde boy wasn't in this world anymore? Lost in those thoughts, his blurry vision slowly cleared, and he finally saw it. The massive iron gate with the 8 trigram seal cloth hanging from it. The fox spirit's huge eyes widened with disbelief and excitement, because a faint chakra he felt behind that gate was unmistakable. It was the boy's. He gathered what little power he had and pulled the boy's consciousness into the spiritual realm. A small, tiny version of the blonde child appeared and dropped onto the shallow water floor. Not the teenager he once knew, but a 4-year-old toddler. Both froze in shock. The little boy looked up, saw a gigantic fox staring back at him, and screamed in terror, trying to run away. The fox spirit was stunned too. Rebirth was expected, but seeing the kid at such a young age was beyond anything he imagined. After a while, he managed to calm the child and assured him he wouldn't be harmed. The boy, still shaky, looked at the fox behind the seal and innocently asked, "What is this place?" The negative energy around the fox was already affecting the boy's mind. So the fox said, "Remove the cloth strip on that ceiling gate. It's uncomfortable staying locked in here." The boy was confused. How did this huge creature even know his name? He asked, "Why don't you tear it off yourself?" The fox spirit grew irritated. He missed a version of the boy who used to be perfectly in sync with him, not this tiny child who didn't remember anything. But he also remembered how much pain the boy suffered growing up. So his cautious behavior made sense. Just when the fox was about to give up on requesting his help, the fox spirit watched in disbelief as a tiny blonde child climbed toward the gate with all his strength. The spirit asked, surprised, "Are you really trying to help me? Weren't you terrified of me moments ago?" The little boy swallowed his fear and said, "Anyone would be scared the first time they see a giant monster. But it's okay now. You're the first one who ever talked to me, and the first one who ever needed me. I think you're really nice." And then the child smiled. That same sunshine-bright smile the fox spirit remembered so well. His pupils widened in shock. Then slowly, he smiled back. The anxiety he had felt since his rebirth evaporated instantly. This tiny child was the same soul, the same heart he once knew. Soon the boy reached the ceiling gate. He was just about to pull the cloth strip off the tag, when a long arm reached out and gently grabbed his wrist. It was the boy's father. the former village leader whose remaining chakra lived inside the seal. No one expected the fox spirit and this old remnant of the boy's father to end up training the child together someday. The moment the blonde child stepped fully onto the iron gate and reached for the sealing tag, that same hand pulled him back. Before he could even look behind him, his young body vanished from the sealed world. The father's gentle smile faded instantly. He stared seriously toward the caged fox spirit. He hadn't expected the seal to weaken this quickly. Only a few years had passed, and yet the fox spirit already had enough chakra leaking out to influence the boy. Thankfully, the father had planned ahead and left backup chakra behind. But still, the fox spirit was overwhelmingly powerful. The fox spirit gave a faint smirk. The human he once wanted to see the most was finally in front of him again. The one who sealed him. Now standing there exhausted, heavy-hearted, the father didn't waste time arguing. He stepped forward and began reinforcing the seal, using the last bits of his chakra. But before he could finish, the fox spirit said, "Come closer. Let me lend you chakra, otherwise your form will fade away." Meanwhile, in the real world, the young boy slowly opened his eyes. He looked around, confused, thinking he had just woken from a dream. He was only 4 years old, too young to question things deeply. His stomach growled loudly. He stood up to go find something to eat, but then remembered he barely had any money. Helpless, he started walking home. He didn't know that a leaf shinobi was trailing him silently. The third leader of the village had ordered surveillance, and both the fox spirit and the father were watching this from the sealed world. The fox spirit said casually, "See that? This is how your great leader's son gets treated in this village." "Do the math," he continued. "The boy is only 3 or 4 years old." The father's face darkened. At first he wanted to believe this was some illusion the fox spirit created, but he couldn't lie to himself anymore. Everything the fox said was true. After a long silence, he stepped closer to the cage. A wave of powerful red chakra swirled around him, strengthening his fading body. He recognized that chakra, yet it no longer carried the malice it once did. He asked, "Why are you helping me protect him?" The fox spirit scoffed and avoided giving a direct answer. His mind drifted to the boy's lonely memories. The cold stays, the empty house, the silent tears. No child deserved that. Changing the subject, the fox said casually, "I'm not a ninjutsu teacher, so you'll have to teach your own kid. That's better anyway." The father knew the fox spirit was hiding something, but he didn't press. Deep down, being able to guide his child, even from the afterlife, lightened his guilt. He asked seriously, "Then why not let him release the seal?" The fox spirit's eyes narrowed with warmth. The fox spirit explained the truth calmly. "First, his small body can't handle my full chakra. Second, if my energy leaks out again, that masked man who attacked the village years ago will return." The father froze. That horrible night flashed in his mind. The masked man, the one who destroyed everything. Then the fox spirit revealed something the father never expected to hear. That masked man was the boy you once knew. Hearing that name shattered him. He couldn't believe it, not from the fox spirit's mouth. The fox extended his giant furry paw toward him. "If you want the full truth, fist bump with me." After a moment of hesitation, the father slowly reached forward. The moment their fists touched, a flood of memories surged into his mind. A future war between nations, ancient alien clans descending from the sky, the boy awakening godlike power, and finally, the boy becoming the leader of the entire village. At first, the father felt overwhelming pride. But as the visions continued, the battles, the pain, the loneliness his son endured, his eyes filled with tears. Was this really my child's life? He thought. He could barely recognize the path his son walked. The fox spirit remained quiet. He didn't know how he ended up in this timeline either. But the moment he remembered the threat of the celestial invaders, a mix of fear and anger flashed in his eyes. "This time, we won't fail." The fox growled. "This time, the boy and I will crush that entire clan." But for that, the boy needed to become strong, fast, and the fox needed the father's help. The father stayed silent, then said, "If such enemies truly exist, then we need the fox's other half and my soul fragment, free from the seal. Without that, the plan will fail. But he was too weak. He couldn't break the deadly sealing technique yet. The fox smirked. "You're still the same, smart and annoying." Then the fox's expression softened. "I'm never leaving the boy. If I disappear, he's alone again, and I refuse to see him suffer like that ever again." For the first time, the father smiled peacefully. He knew now his son wasn't truly alone anymore. Herb, meanwhile, in the real world, the elderly village leader found a little blonde boy alone in the forest, trying to catch fish. He smiled warmly. "Come on, let's roast them together." As they ate, he gently explained the will of fire philosophy. The boy didn't understand everything, but the dream of becoming the village leader burned brighter inside him. Watching this from within the seal, the father felt a deep ache. Here's my son, yet the village gave him nothing but loneliness. But the decision was made. The father and the fox would train him. Together, they would make the child the strongest warrior the world had ever seen. High-voltage science secret training begins. No one expected the boy to learn high-level teleportation techniques so quickly. It all started the night the father discovered the truth about the future. Every night, following the fox spirit's plan, the father appeared in the boy's dreams, teaching him secret ninja skills only he knew. In just 6 months, the boy's speed and reflexes sharpened greatly. Every morning after training, the boy woke up feeling a warm shadow near him, but the face was always blurred, impossible to recognize. The former village leader wanted to begin teaching the blonde boy real combat techniques, but the fox spirit stopped him. If he picks up ninjutsu too quickly, people will start questioning how he's being trained. The fox warned. So, for now, the former leader only taught the boy the ancient sealing techniques of his clan. A few elders and a certain wandering sage knew bits and pieces of these techniques, so it was safe. Hearing the sage's name didn't bother the fox spirit. If anyone knew the boy's true potential, it was that man, perhaps even more than the boy's own father. Still, the fox spirit cautioned him, "Do not reveal our existence to the boy yet. If he learns too early, it will only create problems." The former leader agreed, though a question nagged at him. If the future holds such dangerous enemies, why is the fox being so calm? Why is he limiting the boy's training? Noodles, meanwhile, in the real world, the blonde child had just eaten a special limited edition ramen, feeling genuinely happy because the shopkeeper didn't turn him away despite his lack of money. But on the way home, 2 brothers crossed his path. One shy and quiet, the other calm and analytical. The elder brother looked at the boy carefully, noticing that despite being their age, the blonde child's posture and movement felt trained, like a young shinobi. They exchanged brief greetings and walked their separate ways. At that time, the clan of the 2 brothers was falling out of favor in the village, still distrusted because of the attack years ago. The elderly leader insisted they were part of the village family, but the other political figures didn't share that view. To monitor village activity, the clan head pushed his prodigy son into the elite surveillance force. There, the young prodigy was trained by a mentor whose words changed him. See the world with your own eyes. A shinobi who borrows someone else's understanding never finds his own path. Those words sank deep into the young prodigy's heart. His eyes grew sharper. His resolve hardened. That night, he practiced throwing blades in the forest, until a shadow flew toward him unexpectedly. He reacted instantly, launching a blade. It struck the object, only to discover it was a stone the blonde boy had thrown while playing. The boy panicked, bowing repeatedly. "Sorry, I didn't mean it." The prodigy stayed silent for a moment, then replied softly, "It's fine." And he walked away. The boy noticed the blade stuck in a tree. His eyes sparkled. His first real ninja weapon. He hit it carefully and ran home. Crescent moon months passed. The blonde child grew used to the nightly mysterious dreams. He could never remember the face inside them, but every morning he woke with peace and renewed energy. His confidence grew. He started making friends. His loneliness slowly faded. Inside the spiritual world, the former leader watched with pride. After a full year of secret training, the boy had mastered advanced energy techniques and even the teleportation skill the former leader was famed for. Seeing the child progress, the man's respect for the fox spirit grew. But the fox spirit said coldly, "Don't thank me. The boy doesn't belong only to you. He has a future, a purpose you aren't ready to understand yet. The former leader realized the fox spirit was hiding something, so he created a backup plan for the boy. He wanted to stop the upcoming tragedy, the fall of an entire clan. During late-night conversations, the former leader asked the fox about the future. He learned that he himself would one day be revived in a war long ahead, but against ancient beings and the strongest enemies imaginable. He would barely be able to help. This left a deep worry inside him. My son doesn't just need power, he thought. He needs strong allies, loyal companions. Then he remembered the clan of geniuses, the very clan now being pushed into a corner. The fox spirit interrupted him. In the future, that clan won't be fighting in the Great War at all. The former leader frowned. Why not? The fox spirit's voice turned cold. Because that clan won't exist anymore. The fox spirit's voice grew cold, completely annihilated. The former leader felt his breath stop. He immediately asked, "Who did it?" But the fox refused to answer, because for chakra beasts, the clan with the special hypnotic eyes brought nothing but bitter memories. The fox wasn't ready to revisit that pain. The former leader understood. The fox was avoiding the subject, so he asked indirectly, "When does this happen?" The fox sighed with irritation. Roughly 2 years from now. For the fox spirit, the rise and fall of human clans meant very little. Even legendary clans like the forest tribe had faded with time. But the former leader's mind was racing. 2 years. There was still a chance to prevent a civil war. Still time to keep that prodigy clan from destruction. Suddenly, a wave of crushing pressure, dark, heavy, suffocating, fell over him like a demonic presence. The fox spirit warned, "Listen, father of the blonde boy, I know you won't harm him, but do not force your ideals onto him. Don't push him into foolish attempts like trying to save that clan. You'll only put him in danger." The pressure vanished as suddenly as it came. The former leader collapsed to his knees, drenched in sweat. The fox's aura felt stronger than even in his prime, and this was only half of his chakra. Yet the former leader regained his composure. Quietly, he said, "All right, I understand." The fox added another shocking detail, almost casually. "If I'm not mistaken, the one destined to do it will be the clan leader's son." The former leader's eyes widened with horror. Noodles, meanwhile, in the real world, the blonde boy left the ramen shop, happily full, when he bumped into the clan prodigy, the same elder brother he'd met before. The boy returned the blade he had picked up earlier. The prodigy examined it. It was indeed his, but the handle now had a strange symbol carved into it. "What's this marking?" he asked. The boy panicked. "Oh, that? Just some scribbles I made for fun. They don't erase. I tried." The prodigy stayed a moment, then pocketed the blade. "Thank you." His eyes flickered red for a brief second, and with a smooth disappearance technique, he vanished. To avoid suspicion, the prodigy went to meet his mentor in the hidden forest. They exchanged intel. The mentor's expression showed clear anxiety. "It's worse than we thought," he said. Then he revealed a dangerous plan. "I'll use my ultimate genjutsu on the clan chief to prevent the rebellion. It's our only chance to stop a civil war." They parted ways. The mentor rushed to the elderly leader to present his idea. The village head listened and nodded. "I will buy you time. Do what you must." Hearing those words filled the mentor with both urgency and hope. He sprinted toward the clan district. But a dark figure dropped in front of him. No one could have imagined his story would take such a tragic turn. After saying his final goodbye to the elderly leader, the mentor had planned to stop the entire rebellion with a single genjutsu. But on the way, he was intercepted by the one-eyed faction leader and his secret task force. A split second of carelessness was enough. Using precise wind-style blades and chakra scalpels, the faction leader ripped one of the mentor's special eyes from him. The mentor staggered back in agony, but immediately threw a smoke bomb and escaped into the forest. The faction leader didn't flinch. His expression wasn't fear, but a shameless, cruel smile. "Find the remaining eye," he ordered coldly. 2 battles raged inside the young warrior's body, one in his flesh from the searing pain, and another in his heart from overwhelming betrayal. He understood now. This ambush hadn't been random. They came prepared to steal his eyes. He pushed deeper into the deserted side of the forest, stopping only when he could no longer run. He didn't cry. He didn't beg. He chose to fight. In the very next moment, the earth shook. He activated his complete defense. A towering emerald skeletal guardian, a monstrous avatar of power, so terrifying that the elite root squad froze for a heartbeat. But far in the shadows, a man with a spiraled mask stood watching. The masked man smirked. Interesting, even in this condition, he can awake in that form. This boy is dangerous, extremely dangerous. The Emerald Warrior swung its first strike. Half the root forces were obliterated instantly, but the root were trained for impossible odds. After a brief clash, the young warrior collapsed, his pain overwhelming him. A dark vortex suddenly opened before him, space twisting unnaturally. The masked man emerged from the distortion, silently eliminating the remaining root soldiers, as if cleaning up a battlefield. Later, the young warrior stood at a cliff. The same cliff history would one day remember. He handed his remaining eye to his closest friend, the prodigy with calm, sorrowful eyes. The friend's hands trembled. Words failed him. Nothing, he said, could stop the inevitable. The young warrior smiled one last time. "You will carry out my dream," he said, and then he stepped backward into the void. His friend screamed. The cry echoed through the entire forest, and at that moment, his own awakened vision erupted into a new form. Moments later, root operatives arrived, but the body was gone, because the masked man had already taken it, deep within a dark underground base. A creature of black and white looked at the lifeless warrior and chuckled. The clan of the Cursed Eyes, always destined for tragedy. The masked man said nothing, no emotion. He simply placed his hand on the warrior's chest. The heartbeat stopped forever. Heard, meanwhile, in the village, no one expected that the energetic green-clad warrior would stumble upon the blond boy. After the young warrior's fall and the disappearance of his body, panic spread across the entire village. Feeling the strange atmosphere, the blond boy rushed to his training spot. But someone unexpected was waiting there. A man in bright green clothing, hands wrapped with bands, hair shaped like a perfect bowl. The Green Hurricane himself. He waved with explosive enthusiasm. The blond boy froze. He had never seen anyone so strange, and so overwhelmingly friendly. The green-clad warrior sensed movement in the grass. A small, shy girl had been hiding there, watching the blond boy train. He pointed it out. The boy turned. The girl's eyes met his. She turned beet red and fainted instantly. The blond boy panicked. "Hey, what did you do to her?" In a flash of impossible speed, he reached her side. The green warrior's smile faded. That speed was not normal. He decided to test him. He moved behind the boy swiftly. But before he could even get close, the boy blinked out of sight and reappeared 3 meters away, carrying the girl safely in his arms. The boy's eyes were sharp, cautious. "What were you planning to do?" Inside the seal, the fox spirit watched silently. His voice rumbled within. He remembered the day this same green warrior once pushed back a god-level enemy. Outside, the girl's clan bodyguard suddenly appeared between them, protective and alert. The green warrior smirked, then pretended to dash toward the girl at full speed. The bodyguard didn't even get time to react. But the blond boy, for the 3rd time, teleported the girl away safely. The green-clad warrior finally understood. The blond boy carried a level of potential the world could no longer overlook. The boy spoke in a tone far too mature for his age. "Take the girl back to the village. This man is not normal." Inside the spiritual seal, the fox spirit groaned loudly. "You fool! Not every stranger is an enemy. Did your dream teacher not teach you how to read intent?" The spirit's voice echoed like thunder. The dream teacher remained silent. He knew the boy was only 5 years old, and couldn't yet distinguish danger from unfamiliar faces. The green warrior watched the boy's posture carefully. He realized something important. The child was strong, but drawing unwanted attention. So he immediately shifted the situation. In his signature explosive voice, he shouted, "All right, enough worrying, let's compete instead." Before the boy could react, the green warrior grabbed him and disappeared from the area in a burst of speed. Behind them, the girl and her guard shared confused glances, and far away, AMBU agents silently tailed the green warrior. But the green-clad shinobi tricked them easily and took the boy to a remote, isolated clearing. There, his tone changed completely. He crouched down to our level and said, "Listen carefully. Whatever technique you used, whether a space-warping movement or something like the Flying Thunder style, do not show it to anyone yet. People fear what they can't understand, and many will try to use you." He took a deep breath before continuing. "You're the son of the fourth, and the student of my rival. I can't leave you unprotected." Back in the village, the ANBU delivered an urgent report. "Lord Third, the green-clad warrior has taken the Nine-Tails host. We suspect the child used some sort of teleportation technique." The elderly leader froze. Teleportation? At that age? His heart pounded. What on earth had the blonde boy learned? And who was secretly teaching him? The day the elder leader ordered an assassination, no one ever imagined that the village's elderly leader would one day give Kakashi a direct order to eliminate the blonde child. Right after the green-clad warrior took the boy away, the elder was about to deploy a full search squad when the green warrior himself suddenly appeared before him. He revealed everything: the boy's strange teleportation ability, his unnatural speed, and that he had already returned home safely. But the elder leader froze when he heard what technique the child had used. Teleportation, the same forbidden art once mastered only by the fourth. No one since then had ever been able to learn it. Yet this kid, barely 5 years old, had used it instinctively. A talent like this wasn't rare. It was unprecedented. Old memories stabbed into the elder's heart. The fourth had been his perfect successor, but died far too early, leaving behind a child, now repeating his legacy. After the green warrior left, the elder quietly walked to the boy's tiny, broken-down house. He stopped at the doorway. This was not the home of a hero's son. The child was placed here because revealing his parents' identity would put him in extreme danger. This house was not protection. It was isolation. The elder stood silently for a long time before giving command to the ANBU. "Bring Iruka and Kakashi to my office tomorrow morning." Next morning, Iruka stepped into the elder leader's office. The old man didn't waste time. "I want the boy to join the academy this year." Iruka's eyes widened, but is only 5. The elder replied in a calm, heavy voice. "Exactly. That's why I need you. I want you to watch over him personally." After Iruka left, a shadow shifted in the corner. Kakashi stepped out. The elder gestured silently, and the two of them moved toward the boy's house together, their footsteps heavy, as if walking toward a decision neither of them truly wanted to face. The moment Kakashi saw the living conditions of his late mentor's son, his heart tightened, but that softness lasted only a second. 7 years in the elite Black Ops unit had trained him to accept pain, shadows, and the unsettling truths behind every order. And today, the village leader had summoned him for one purpose: to eliminate the blonde boy. A sudden killing intent. The boy was walking home when a chilling surge shot through his spine. A killing intent so sharp it felt like a blade of cold air. The beast inside him woke instantly. For the first time, even the creature was afraid. Minato sensed it too. Something terrible was about to happen, and even more terrifying. The seal restraining the beast was starting to loosen. A throwing blade sliced the air, impossible to dodge, yet it struck nothing but empty space. The boy's voice came from behind. "Who are you?" Kakashi didn't tone. He knew the kid hadn't used teleportation. That reaction speed was pure instinct. This was the boy's first real battle. The first time he'd ever felt true malice aimed directly at him. Fear shook him, but something deeper ignited inside. A burning force that made his body move on its own. He vanished again. Kakashi listened for footsteps, but the voice came from behind him. Keeping distance isn't enough. A real fight starts after that. The boy toned. But the moment he reacted, lightning flashed. Kakashi's fingertip blade passed straight through the boy's shoulder. Except, the boy dissolved into smoke. A clone. Kakashi froze, realizing he'd been tricked. The Real boy stood behind him with a small grin. "You're not the only one who can use shadow doubles." A shiver crawled up Kakashi's spine. He muttered to himself, "I really forgot. This kid isn't ordinary." The elder leader's order had not only been to test the boy, but to check his limits. And now Kakashi understood. Those limits were far beyond normal. Lightning blade versus teleportation. Kakashi slowly raised his forehead protector, revealing the spinning eye beneath. He dashed forward with a crackling lightning blade. The boy's breath caught. That speed was overwhelming. At the last moment, he activated his teleportation mark and blinked out of the strike's path. But Kakashi knew the technique's weakness. He'd already seen the marker. The moment the boy reappeared, Kakashi's gaze was already waiting for him. The spinning eye locked onto him and trapped him inside a reality-bending illusion. The boy's head lowered slowly. The fight was over. Kakashi spoke calmly. "For someone your age, that level of control is unbelievable. With experience, you might have fought me evenly." But then, the world around him shattered. The beast awakens. Fog swallowed everything. Even his special eye struggled to see. A crushing pressure rolled over the forest. Ancient, monstrous, suffocating. The voice followed. "You overstepped, little shinobi." A massive presence loomed behind him. Kakashi's chest tightened. His breath stuck in his throat, and sharp pain slashed through his spinning eye. His eyelid split at the corner, blood streaking down his cheek. For the first time in years, Kakashi felt pure fear. But then Kakashi realized something wasn't right. The great fox beast was supposed to be locked inside the seal, yet its voice had just thundered through his mind. The creature spoke in a cold, echoing growl. "This is your final warning. Do not gamble with a boy's life." Kakashi's vision warped. A dizziness pulled him under, and the next moment he jolted awake, gasping. Instinctively he grabbed his left eye. Everything was intact, but his breath wouldn't steady. A cold sweat ran down his forehead. Whatever he had just faced was far beyond what the third leader had predicted. The elder had sent Kakashi because, as a sharing user, he was supposedly the most suited to suppress the fox. But the truth was clear now. Against that beast, Kakashi was helpless. And even worse, there had been someone else standing beside it. Someone familiar. Kakashi let out a small, uneasy smile. The kid was far stronger than anyone imagined. His safety wasn't the issue anymore. His potential was. He returned to the elder Hokage and delivered the entire report. The old man was stunned. At only 6 years old, the blonde kid had forced Kakashi to use both, his sharing eye and his lightning blade. Yet the elder had never doubted one thing. The boy would never harm the village. He was the son of their fallen hero. After all, teleportation mishap. Meanwhile, the boy appeared inside Sasuke's hidden training spot, startling the young Uchiha so badly, he nearly dropped the kunai in his hand. The same kunai marked with the boy's teleport seal. "Relax, Sasuke. I teleported here by accident." The boy blurted out, before vanishing toward the next marker. Sasuke rubbed his eyes, convinced he must have hallucinated it. He desperately wanted his own eyes to awaken too. Moments later, the boy reappeared at his practice field, and a familiar aged voice spoke behind him. "Naruto." It was the third Hokage, the return of a ghost. Nobody had expected it. Shisui, the prodigy who vanished after leaping from a cliff, was actually alive. The elder Hokage had seen the boy's new power, and his surprising control over it, so he went alone to speak with him. The boy froze when he saw the elder appear out of nowhere, especially because he was still shaken from the earlier assassination attempt. Hearing the boy's frightened explanation, the elder sighed in relief. At least he hadn't seen Kakashi's face. That would have caused a disaster. The third calmed him gently, played along, and said, "I'll send someone to handle the incident. For now, prepare yourself. It's time for you to attend the Ninja Academy." The word school confused the boy for a moment, but when he heard he'd finally have the chance, to make real friends. His entire mood changed instantly. The third Hokage smiled gently and said, "Naruto, you finally have the ability to protect yourself. But a true ninja doesn't win battles by running away. If you really want to become Hokage one day, you'll need to learn far more, starting with the academy." After walking the boy home, the old leader looked up at the sky. There was a hopeful light in his eyes. "Minato, I still don't know what you truly wanted for your son. But just like I supported you on your path, I'll support Naruto as well." Inside the seal, Kurama and Minato's watch. Within the inner seal space, Kurama had witnessed everything. He had been moments away from tearing through reality itself to protect the child. Finally, he allowed himself to relax. Minato exhaled softly with a small smile. "I still want to believe in the leaf, even after everything that's happened." Kurama didn't comment, but his eyes narrowed. The fox knew darkness was already moving. Akatsuki moves. Two shadows enter the hidden rain. Far away, in the rain-soaked streets of Omega Q, two cloaked figures quietly enter the village. Black coats, crimson clouds, and silent intent. Obito and Shisui. Shisui's eyes were covered with a black cloth, and parts of his body were unnaturally pale, like something had patched him together. The moment they stepped inside, Shisui sensed something strange. The rain wasn't natural. It was controlled by a sensory jutsu. Their presence was already detected. Thousands of paper slips spiraled together, forming the shape of a woman. "Conan," she eyed Obito coldly, though her expression softened just slightly. At recognizing him, Obito remained calm. "We need to meet with Pain." Shisui versus Pain, a silent test. The three ascended the high platform. From the shadows emerged the figure of Pain, his rinnegan glowing in the dark. Obito gestured toward his companion. "This is Shunshin Shisui, our newest recruit." Conan's eyes narrowed. The same Shisui of the leaf? The one they call a legend? But Shisui wasn't listening. He was staring at Pain's eyes. The mythical rinnegan. The eyes said to belong to the Sage of Six Paths. Before he could even speak, Pain launched an attack. A black chakra rod spearing through the air. It should have pierced Shisui cleanly, but the boy flickered out of sight, leaving only wind behind. A shuriken shot toward Pain's head. With perfect speed, Pain simply raised his hand. Shinra Tensai. The almighty push froze the weapon midair, then hurled it back at double velocity. Shisui dodged again, hands flashing through seals, preparing to unleash a fire-style jutsu. But a storm of paper tags from Conan intercepted him. Pain lifted his hand. "Stop. Let him show his strength." Conan halted immediately. Obito watched quietly, from the corner of the platform. Saying nothing, Pain spoke. "Your body flicker is impressive, but not enough. You're still not worthy of joining Akatsuki." Then he turned toward Obito. "You truly believe this boy can handle the fourth Mizukage?" Obito's tone dropped to a cold monotone. "I've dealt with Yagura and Lady Mai myself. The three-tailed sudden surge was a weakness, not a threat." Pain nodded. "Very well. Our plan remains unchanged. I'll handle the distractions. You two will secure the remaining tailed beast." No one had expected that Shisui would awaken new eyes, an entirely new dojutsu, after losing his original sharing into Danzo. Once his eye was stolen, Obito took him to meet Pain. A brief combat test was enough. Shisui accepted the offer to join Akatsuki, because he had a secret agenda of his own. Shisui's new power. After leaving Omega Q, Obito gave Shisui a direct mission. Go to Kirigakyu. Capture the Three Tails. Isabu. But this was no longer the same Shisui the Leaf once knew. Obito had implanted the bloodline sharing of Uchikagami into him, along with Hashirama's enhanced cells. He had lost Koto Metsukami, but gained monstrous regeneration and combat ability far beyond his old limits. The moment they separated, Obito secretly dispatched Black Zetsu and White Zetsu to observe Shisui's every movement. He didn't fully trust anyone, not even a revived legend. Inside Naruto, Kurama awakened something new. Back inside Naruto's body, Kurama opened his eyes in excitement. He had just succeeded in drawing in pure Sage Mode Chakra. thanks to fragments of Naruto's future life memories. Minato, standing beside him inside the Mind's Cape, recognized it immediately. That's pure natural energy, the same energy from Mount Mayaboku. Minato remembered how Jiraiya had once taught him the basics of Sage Mode. He was surprised. Kurama was absorbing natural energy despite being sealed. There was something new, something mysterious about him. But Minato had seen Kurama's future memories. He now understood the truth. Kurama wasn't training for himself. He was preparing Naruto for the Otsutsuki threat. Since Otsutsuki can drain chakra freely, natural energy might be the key to countering them. Minato also realized something else. The seal was no longer containing Kurama. Kurama stayed inside only because of his bond with Naruto. After a short discussion, both of them returned to their wake, because the danger that lay ahead was unlike anything the world had faced. Minato's fear, Otsutsuki multipliers. Minato had seen the future. Even Naruto plus Sasuke plus Sage of 6 Pa's power could barely defeat one Otsutsuki. So he wondered, what if multiple Otsutsuki appear at once? That thought alone was terrifying. Kurama and Minato spent every moment analyzing the problem, searching for a breakthrough, knowing full well that the future of the world depended on Naruto. Kirigakyo shock. Yagura goes missing. A few days later, a shocking report arrived from the Hidden Mist. The 4th Mizukage, Yagura, had mysteriously disappeared. The suspect sketch wasn't perfect, but the 3rd Hokage recognized the profile instantly. It was Shisui, and the report included one chilling line. Suspect possesses Genjutsu strong enough to control a tailed beast. Only an Uchiha could do that. The 3rd Hokage felt his chest tighten. If this was true, then the already fragile trust between Konoha and the Uchiha clan had reached a critical breaking point. At that moment, it felt like the entire clan's fate had been sealed, and perhaps Danzo's brutal solution was now the only option left on the table. The next day was Naruto's first day at the Ninja Academy. Parents and children crowded the front gate, laughing, talking, buzzing with excitement. Naruto stood among them, alone. No family to walk him in, no one to hold his hand. That familiar ache of loneliness stirred inside him again. But then, a warm chakra flowed through him, calming every negative feeling. The old man is here. A mysterious voice echoed inside Naruto's mind. Before he could even react, "Hey, Naruto!" Choji waved. Sasuke stood beside him, acting cool as usual. Just like fate intended, the entire Konoha 12 rookie generation had ended up in the same class again. Kurama's return alters history. What no one could have predicted was that, after Kurama's rebirth, the Nine Tails would change something massive. He would prevent the Uchiha massacre. While Naruto and the new rookies were entering the academy, tension between Konoha and the Uchiha was reaching a deadly breaking point. The council had once again decided Itachi must eliminate the Uchiha clan. So, just like before, Itachi met the masked man, Obito, near the Uchiha Forbidden Grounds. But this time, Obito's reaction was different. When he heard Itachi's plan, excitement flashed across his hidden face. He invited Itachi to join the Akatsuki, promising, "Once the job is done, we have a surprise for you." That surprise was Shisui Uchiha, whom Obito intended to bring back in his own twisted way. Itachi meets Izumi, the moment that broke him. On his way home, Itachi ran into Izumi Uchiha, his childhood friend, the one person who brought him peace. She approached with her usual smile, holding his favorite 3-colored dango sticks. But this time, the smile only shattered Itachi's heart. He had just finalized the Uchiha Purge plan with Obito. He knew what that meant. Izumi would not survive the night. His emotions darkened, so heavily that it felt like a black aura was radiating off him. Academy life, a new rivalry begins. Back at the academy, things were changing fast. Naruto's talent grew at a rate no one expected. Even at a young age, he was already seen as a natural prodigy. Sasuke and Neji now had a common topic. How do we beat Naruto? Every day after school, Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata trained together. Hinata usually had to leave early because of her clan's strict rules. But Sasuke, after learning that Naruto had no one waiting for him at home, he stopped leaving early. no matter how late training went. Sasuke always stayed until Naruto was done. Slowly, the two boys began forming a bond deeper than rivalry, a connection rooted in loneliness, ambition, and unspoken understanding. Tonight, Sasuke was about to face the darkest night of his life. The night of the massacre had begun. As darkness settled over Konoha, both Kurama and Minato, within Naruto's inner mind, sensed a wave of murderous chakra boiling in the direction of the Konoha police headquarters. Naruto felt it too, a suffocating pressure, an unexplainable terror. People inside that building were disappearing one by one. His tiny body trembled. Suddenly, Naruto, run! Izumi Uchi burst into view, panic written all over her face. Naruto barely had time to react before a swirling dark space-time vortex tore open the sky above them. Obito had arrived. Izumi instantly moved in front of Naruto, one hand pushing him back protectively while the other launched a perfectly aimed flurry of shuriken. But they passed through Obito as if he were made of smoke. Kamu, with chilling calmness, Obito observed her and whispered, "Your eyes, they're impressive." He stepped closer, sensing she was hiding someone. Naruto, Izumi prepared another attack, but Obito's chakra chains lashed outward, wrapping around her and pinning her in place. He advanced to finish her, but Naruto was gone. Medium white star Minato appears. Izumi gasped in relief. Naruto had escaped, but standing before Obito again filled her with dread. Just as Obito raised his hand to end her life, a massive surge of chakra roared behind him. Sage Art, Water Dragon Bullet. A colossal wave exploded across the street. Obito immediately activated his phasing ability, but even he was startled. Such a huge water-style jutsu. Who could have cast it here? The blast sent Izumi sliding across the ground and out of harm's way. Obito spun toward the attack's origin and froze. Standing there was Naruto, but not Naruto alone. His body was enveloped in Minato's chakra, and his eyes flashed with a red, feral slit. Within Naruto's mind, Minato's voice echoed. Asterisk, asterisk, Obito, you were the one responsible for the Nine-Tails attack. Asterisk, asterisk. Obito tried to walk toward Naruto instantly, but found nothing. Minato had already placed a flying thunder god mark on Izumi. In one flash, Minato teleported beside her, not to flee, but to stand and fight. Asterisk, asterisk, as a fourth Hokage, this is where I stop you. Asterisk, asterisk. Medium white star Kurama's warning. Inside Naruto's seal, Kurama growled furiously. Exposing Obito's identity like this could change everything. And Weiss. Kurama didn't want Obito discovering Naruto's true abilities, or the evolving bond inside the seal. Minato. Kurama roared. Get Naruto and that girl out of here, now. Minato didn't answer right away, because tonight was that night. The night the Uchi massacre was meant to happen. Kurama immediately sensed Minato's hesitation. With a low growl, he snapped, "Don't get soft now. Even if the Uchi survive tonight, do you really think the world magically becomes peaceful tomorrow?" Minato understood Kurama's fear. Naruto's safety came first for the Nine-Tails. He also understood why the third Hokage and the village elders had allowed this tragedy to move forward. But for Minato, one truth outweighed everything. Asterisk, asterisk, as long as the Uchi are citizens of this village, and I am the Hokage, I will protect them, even if it costs my life and my son's. Asterisk, asterisk. Kurama fell silent. In Naruto's eyes, Minato saw the same resolve, the same flame, that reminded Kurama who Minato truly was. The man who once sealed him away at the cost of his own life. And Naruto, the son who inherited that unbreakable spirit. Kurama exhaled deeply. "Ha! You two really are father and son." He finally muttered, "Fine, old man. I'll help you." Kurama instructed Minato to create a shadow clone. The moment the clone formed, it broke free from Minato's control. Naruto's whisker marks darkened sharply, the sign that Kurama himself was now driving the clone's body. "I'll deal with Obito," Kurama said with a dismissive flick of his hand. "Hurry. I don't know how long I can hold him off in this human-sized meat suit." Minato nodded, grabbed Izumi using Flying Thunder God, and vanished in a flash of gold. Medium white star Naruto's mindscape. the fog. Meanwhile, the real Naruto's consciousness was still trapped inside his mind, surrounded by a thick, endless fog. No path, no sound, nothing but darkness. Medium White Star back on the battlefield. Obito heard a voice behind him. "That's enough, Obito." He turned, and his eyes widened. Standing there was Kakashi Hatake, or so it appeared. In reality, it was a Kurama-controlled Naruto clone disguised perfectly as Kakashi. Obito's expression twisted. "So, you're here too, Kakashi." But then he smirked arrogantly. "A cheap transformation won't fool me." Kurama grinned internally. He wasn't trying to fool Obito. He was baiting him. Suddenly, a swirling black Kamu vortex opened behind the clone, Obito's hand shooting out to grab him. But at lightning-like speed, the clone blurred into a streak of red and vanished before Obito's fingers touched anything. Obito froze. Asterisk asterisk, no chakra signature. No sound. Pure physical motion. Asterisk asterisk. Whoever this was, wasn't trying to fight him. They were trying to drag him away from the Ucha district. Obito's rage erupted. "Who are you? How do you know my secret?" Kurama turned his borrowed body, his voice calm and taunting. "Obito, you really planning to stay here?" Obito snapped. He charged after the clone with murderous fury. Because his identity was exposed tonight, his entire plan, including the infinite Tsukuyomi, would crumble. Kurama laughed inside. The game had begun. Medium White Star Minato stops the massacre before it happens. No one in the world could have predicted this. The fourth Hokage had intercepted Obito on the night of the Ucha massacre. And then the unthinkable. Naruto, under Kurama's partial control, exposed Obito's true identity right in front of the battlefield. Obito lost control. He raged like a madman, trying to capture Naruto immediately. But Naruto's speed, instincts, and sensing ability had surpassed anything Obito expected. Even with Kamu, catching him was no longer a simple task. Meanwhile, Minato appeared at Naruto's home. Izumi was still unconscious but safely tied up, alive. Minato couldn't stay. He had to find Itachi before the night spiraled out of control. Medium White Star Sasuke's worst nightmare. Sasuke was on his way back home. But something felt wrong. Too quiet, too still. A sense of dread crawled up his spine as he sprinted toward his house. He slid open the door and froze. His parents' bodies lay motionless on the floor. Sasuke collapsed, the world cracking beneath his feet. Itachi, who always stayed calm and precise, was startled for the first time. Why was Sasuke home early tonight? There was no time left. He had to make Sasuke hate him, to push him onto a path strong enough to survive this cursed world. Itachi grabbed Sasuke's head. Tsukuyomi. Sasuke screamed as he relived 24 hours of the massacre within moments. Every slash, every death, every face. Itachi's heart broke too, but he knew if Sasuke learned the truth tonight, he'd never grow strong enough to survive what's coming. Medium White Star Minato versus Obito. The clash intensifies. Minato and Obito's battle reached its breaking point. Kamu speed, the sharing and predictions. Obito fought like a phantom, but Minato waited for the perfect moment. Raising in a direct hit. Obito staggered back. At that same moment, it happened. Itachi and Naruto crossed paths. Itachi's eyes narrowed. Why was Naruto here? And the attack just now, that was a fourth Hokage raising in sign technique. If it were anyone else, Itachi would have struck instantly. But Naruto being there changed everything. Itachi attempted to place Naruto under Genjutsu, but the second he entered the illusion, he froze. Standing before him wasn't Naruto. It was Minato Namikaze, alive, inside Itachi's own Tsukuyomi world. Itachi's eyes widened. Impossible. This world was his domain. Nothing could exist here without his permission. Yet Minato stood calmly, smiling. It's been a long time, Itachi. Minato understood Itachi's heart. He knew Itachi still cared for the village, for Sasuke. Minato explained everything. Naruto's destiny, the future threats, the role Itachi had to play. Itachi didn't speak for a while. Tei slipped down silently. Then, with a steady voice, "Tell me, what must I do?" Minato smiled. First, we save every Uchiha still alive. No one else dies tonight. Minato knew the AMBU and Danzo's root forces were surrounding the district even now. Itachi nodded slowly. Minato's aura burned with the true light of a Hokage. At that moment, Itachi realized, ***, tonight wasn't just the night of a massacre. It was the beginning of a new era. ***. Medium White Star saving the Uchiha, a new timeline begins. Kurama-controlled Naruto shattered the original plan completely. Itachi, the spirit voice said, this isn't a night for grief. Find the survivors, now. Minato teleported away and returned carrying Fugaku and Mikoto's bodies. They deserve a proper burial, he said quietly. Itachi bowed his head. Together, Itachi and Minato sprinted through the district, searching every home, every corner. Minato's chakra was burning out. Flying Thunder God wasn't gentle, but he kept going, saving one life after another. Itachi watched in awe. ***, for the first time, he witnessed the real power of the Fire Shadow. The Hokage's clan never understood ***. This moment would stay etched in his heart forever. Kurama meets Naruto face to face. Naruto, still under Kurama's partial control, was reaching his limit. His chakra output was unstable, and even Kurama could feel the strain. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a mysterious figure appeared. A tall man, eyes covered with a black cloth. No chakra signature at all. Naruto froze. His emotional sensibility, normally sharper than a sense of ninja, hadn't detected him at all. Kurama went silent. This wasn't normal. This person wasn't supposed to exist in any timeline. The stranger stepped forward and blocked every escape route. Before Naruto could react, he moved. Fast. He assisted Obito, almost as if they had coordinated it. And in the next moment, Obito's hand wrapped around Naruto's throat. Got him. At least, that's what Obito thought. But the body in his grip suddenly puffed into smoke. Shadow clone. Obito staggered back, stunned. The boy he'd been chasing all night. Teleporting, dodging, distracting. Had been a clone the entire time. Medium White Star Minato saves the last Uchiha. Across the district, Minato carried the very last Uchiha survivor to the outskirts of the village. His chakra was almost gone. The flying Thunder God had drained everything. But the impossible had happened. Instead of 0 survivors like the original timeline, more than 50 Uchiha were still alive. Kurama's voice echoed inside Naruto's mind. Minato pushed himself too far. If I had come any later, his chakra form would have disappeared completely. Minato now needed 1 to 2 hours to recover. Until then, Naruto was on his own. Kurama's tone shifted, growing heavy. Naruto, hand your body back to me. Something feels wrong. That man with the black cloth. He doesn't exist in any timeline I've seen. Kurama had decided it was time to teach Naruto Sage Mode. The world was moving too fast. Unknown threats were appearing. Fate was changing. Medium White Star Itachi's breaking point, and Shisui returns. Elsewhere, Itachi stood in the blood-red silence of the night. His mission completed. His heart shattered. A cold voice cut through the darkness. So, this is the path you chose. Itachi turned sharply and froze. Shisui, his eyes were covered. His chakra felt altered. Hashirama cells were clearly integrated into his body. But to Itachi, this was unmistakably Shisui. Alive, Itachi's mind spun. Minato's future visions had never shown Shisui surviving. So how was he here? Shisui spoke quietly. After I jumped from the cliff, Obito saved me. He brought me into his organization. And now, he sent me to bring you back. Itachi's instinct screamed. Something was off. But Itachi, the master of masks, kept his expression perfectly calm. He nodded. Wait for me outside the village. I must report to the High Council first. Shisui agreed and vanished into the night. Medium White Star Kurama and Naruto, their first face-to-face meeting. Inside Naruto's spiritual world, the fog parted. For the first time since this new timeline began, Kurama appeared before Naruto face-to-face. No rage, no cage bars between them. Just a massive fox glowing with a powerful, ancient aura, and a small boy staring up. Kurama begins Naruto's sage training. Years had passed since Kurama last saw Naruto in person, and when the massive fox appeared before him in the spiritual world, Naruto reacted exactly as any kid would. He squeaked in surprise, took one step back. But then, almost instantly, he calmed down. Just calm, fearless, steady. Kurama froze. He had expected screams, panic, crying, anything but this. The child simply tilted his head and said, "So, you're the one they call the demon fox, right?" There was no hatred in the boy's voice, no judgment, only innocent curiosity. And in that moment, Kurama truly understood. This Naruto was different. In the original timeline, Naruto grew up surrounded by grief, loneliness, and anger. But this world's Naruto was growing in the light, supported, encouraged, believed in. A child the village whispered about in fear. Yet he stood unshaken before the creature everyone dreaded. Kurama was speechless. Naruto continued softly, "So that's why people look at me weird. Because you're inside me." It wasn't blame. It was understanding. Kurama felt something he hadn't felt in centuries. Respect. Medium white star Kurama reveals his true intention. Kurama exhaled slowly. "I want to train you," he finally said. "You must learn Sage Mode and master natural energy." Naruto blinked, then realized this place, this strange dream realm he visited every night. This is where he'd been training unconsciously. But someone else had been teaching him, not Kurama. He opened his mouth to ask, but Kurama interrupted. "We don't have time. Sit. Training begins now." And so it began. A tiny boy and a towering fox, sitting side by side in the silent spiritual world, their chakras sinking, their breath steady, like two warriors who had trained together for years. It was calm. It was powerful. It felt destined. Medium white star, meanwhile, Kakashi's mission to the land of water. Far away, Kakashi had reached the misty border of the land of water, carrying confidential orders from the third Hokage. But before he could proceed, a woman stepped out of the fog. Long red-brown hair, elegant, sharp eyes, Mai Terumi. She scanned Kakashi carefully before smiling politely. "You're not like the others," she said warmly. "A good man is hard to find." Then she insisted on escorting him personally to the hidden mist. On the surface she was friendly, but Kakashi could sense a tension beneath her smile. The Mist Village still held deep grudges against Konoha, and Mai wanted to keep an eye on every move he made. Medium white star back in Konoha, Naruto's dangerous sage training. Sage mode training was risky. If Naruto lost control even once, he could literally turn into a frog. Because of this, Naruto asked Hinata to come to his house that night, not for training, but so someone he trusted could be nearby to keep him safe. Hinata agreed immediately, cheeks red, heart pounding. And so, while the village slept, in a tiny quiet room, a boy chosen by fate, and a shy girl who believed in him more than anyone, began a journey that would change everything.